And that line.
Instead of gun training, knife fighting martial arts. It's good to vary your training. Sometimes I practice the deployment process alone, meaning only the deployment. You cut things up and you practice one thing and you drill that. And other times it's better to be fluid and mix it up. But an effective way to train is to train one thing and focus on that at a time, sometimes, and then sometimes practice everything. So what I'm doing now is improvising a training knife. If you're training, first of all, don't train the things in doing this live in your home. The martial arts dance is super formal, done by amateur stuntman, professional artist, as I like to say, as a job this time. So what we're going to do here, this is my cold steel mini leather neck. If you're training, you want to train with something as close to the real deal as possible. So if you got a fighting knife, and this is your fighting knife, you want to train knife fighting with something of equal dimensions, as close to equal as possible. Meaning, if you're going to train knife fighting, if you have a cold steel knife that you carry on, you have it for EDC, and you're thinking you're going to have this for fighting with it in self-defense. Abide by local laws regarding self-defense use of weapons all times. Now, if you have a specific knife, you got a cold steel knife, let's say, and I'm biased towards cold steel, so that's an example I use. I like cold steel knives. You want a knife, a training knife, that's as similar, as close to the actual knife as possible. So I have this knife, and this is my fighting knife, okay? My tool, my fighting knife. And this is one of the most likely knife that I will end up using if I'm fighting somebody in self-defense, in a sense. I'm training knife fighting martial arts, and this is the knife that's on my person most of the time. So most likely if I end up fighting somebody to the death, it will be with this, okay? Now, it wouldn't make sense if I use a training knife that's this long, because it's different from the actual thing. So everything, the distance, the timing, everything, it's going to be different. You want something as close to the actual knife as possible for your training, which is why I improvised a training knife out of the actual knife, which means, if you look at this, this is where the tip of the blade ends, which means it's just like 1 centimeter of a difference, and everything else is the same. The handle, the range, everything, the weight. This is plastic, it doesn't weigh that much. So the way that I figured out how to use this training knife, once again, I'm teaching, and a lot of the haters don't like that I'm to a level where I can teach things. That makes them feel bad. I don't care, I'm gonna keep teaching. You know, you can go listen to some magical kung fu videos and not get better. Knife fighting martial arts is something that I can do and actually teach. So one of the things that I've been teaching is training, get better basics, or get better at knife fighting, is this that I've been dealing with right now. You want to use the training knife as close to the actual knife as possible. So if you bought a knife for self-defense, this is what I'm going to use if you get a knife fight. You want a training knife that's as close to the real knife you're carrying for knife fighting as possible. And the way that I do that, training with a knife that's as close to the real deal as possible, is I use the actual knife with the sheath attached to it. So it's the same handle, it's the same range. The only, well, almost, it's about a difference, about a centimeters of a difference in the reach. So, also cold steel. If you buy cold steel knives, most of the time cold steel will have a training version of the actual knife. So if you buy a cold steel knife on Amazon, a lot of times they have a training knife on Amazon. That's from soft plastic rubber. Now, to teach on that too, the rubber cold steel training knives do 2/3 of knife fighting training well, which means sparring and shadowboxing. Sparring, shadowboxing, and those 2/3, sparring and shadowboxing. So you can do shadowboxing with the cold steel rubber training knives. You can do sparring with them. What they don't do as well is the impact training, which is what I've been doing in this part of them is training string. They don't do impact training that well. Why? Because the same thing that makes it good for a sparring knife, for sparring training, makes it less good at impact training. If I'm practicing combinations and I'm stabbing the dummy, with this it's rigid, it's stiff. With this I couldn't use it for sparring, see? So what makes it good for impact training, solo impact training, makes it not good at sparring. And the knife that's good for sparring, a soft rubber knife, that's good for sparring because I can practice and hit a human with my attacks in sparring, and I don't have to worry about breaking their ribs or cutting them open or something like this. Because the soft rubber knives, if I'm practicing me with the person and then stabbing them, if I hit with the rubber knife, it bends and it doesn't deliver energy. So if it's a stiff, rigid knife, I can't train full power sparring, full speed, full power, if it's a rigid, stiff knife. Because if I hit them, I'm going for a liver stab or something like this. I hit him in the rib cage. With a stiff, even if it's not a real knife, if it's a hard plastic knife or whatever, rigid training knife, if I hit him in the rib cage hard and fast, it's going to break the ribs. If I hit him in the liver, it'll be like a liver shot, it's going to drop down. You can really hurt somebody with a stiff knife, so you can't practice full speed, full power. You have to down-regulate your intensity. So for sparring, 2/3 of the knife fighting, you can divide 2/3 of the training, knife fighting training, into 3 parts, okay? Which means to get better at knife fighting, you should be doing shadow boxing, you should be doing sparring ultimately, and you should be doing impact training. And the cold steel rubber training knives do 2/3, 2 of those thirds well. Shadow boxing and sparring. Now it doesn't do impact training as well. You can use rubber training knives for impact training, but it's not as suited for that. As a matter of fact, I'll take a look, see if I can find my rubber training knife. Or we might do a little bit of training with that. Yes, I found it. So this is a cold steel Recontento. This is a cold steel Recontento training knife. Now I put tape on it to make it more slidey because it gives too much friction. And usually this is an impact tray before. On the bottom, there's like tire marks on it, and also it gives more friction. So I optimize it by adding like a slippery layer that offers less resistance, less friction. Now still enough repetitions, it's gotten through. So this is a cold steel rubber training Recontento, and this is the real deal, see. So this obviously I couldn't use it for sparring, okay? And I couldn't use it for impact training because I'd be wrecking the dummy in one training session. Now this, I can use it for both sparring and shadow boxing. See, which means I can practice combos, I can practice knife fighting and shadow boxing. Everything stances, shadow boxing, move around like a boxer trains boxing. With shadow boxing, I can practice everything. Shadow boxing. I can practice sparring, where I can have somebody train with them, stab them to the body, and it doesn't break the ribs, understand? Now once again, what it doesn't do, it does 2/3 of knife fighting training well, really well, sparring and shadow boxing. Now, impact training is the 1/3 of the training that it doesn't do as well. Which means, if you look at this, here, and this is actually from training, with my training knife. I punctured it, I stabbed a hole in the neck with the sheet on. So I was hitting hard enough where the sheet, the hard plastic sheet of my improvised training knife actually created a puncture wound here in the neck area. So I had to glue it and tape it over to keep it together so that the head doesn't come off. So if you look at this, here's the rubber training knife. And if this is sparring, see, that's not broken ribs. Whereas if I would have a stiff, rigid, hard knife, that would break the ribs. If I'm sparring, I can't use full power with a rigid training knife. With this, I can do actual sparring. was like you're practicing moving around, finding an opening, and stabbing to the body, see? And as soon as I impact here to the rib cage area, see, and all that energy disappears. So this is made for safe training, like sparring and things like this. Same here, if I go, see, it is safer. If this was a rigid, stiff, hard plastic training knife, this attack here would break the ribs. See? So, which means what? You can, for impact training, if you're really serious about getting better knife fighting, training with your knife, ultimately you get two training knives. So you have one that's the soft rubber training knife for sparring and shadow boxing, and you get another knife that's for impact training. And remember, I told you one software is close to really as possible. So this I don't need it. This I don't need either. Put this here. Now, this is my improvised training knife. This is another cold steel knife, cold steel mini leather neck. And I don't have a rubber training version for it. But I can do 2/3 or even 2/3 of the knife fighting training bullet. Shadow boxing and impact training. Because I improvised the sheet. So I attach the sheet more securely with a rubber band, see, rubber hairband, through this hole and here. You can make it even stronger. So with this I can tap the dummy and practice hitting the dummy. That's impact training. Now for sparring this wouldn't be good. Now even with the sheet on I wouldn't be throwing attacks to human body. It'd be like dry firing a gun in training at somebody because you got the safety on, but you have run in the chamber, something like this. Because if something fails, if this breaks the sheet or slides in between this, do you understand? So that like you don't use this for sparring. This you can use it for shadow boxing and for impact training. So simply, if you want to get better knife fighting martial arts, get a fucking training knife, and you get a training knife that's as close to real as possible. So what can I do with this? It's the same dimensions. And if you don't understand fighting martial arts, that might be new to you. That I had to explain that to you. How you want something as close to real as possible. Because if I would have this training knife, okay, which is the training version of the Recon Tanto knife, and I use that, it's like this is the EDC knife. This is what I have on me most of the time. So in case there's a guy come into my house, I need to fight him to the death in self-defense and by the local laws regarding self-defense use weapons all times. This is the most likely knife that I would have on me in a moment of need, say. So this is the knife that I have on me most of the time, 24/7. Like I walk around my house, sweatpants, this is in my sweatpants pocket. Whatever I'm walking around, whatever I'm doing, most of the time, this is the knife I have on me. And I have other weapons in the apartment, all legal. But this is the one that most of the time I have it on me. See, most of the time I have this on me. This, I have it somewhere else, and sometimes I put it on me for a training video, for training with this knife. But this is somewhere I have this in a different place, okay? And this is the knife that I most likely have on me. This is the knife I have on me most of the time. So, if I'm training to get better at knife fighting, if I get into knife fight, most likely it will be with this. See, this will be at least one of the knives I'll be using. Okay, like this is the most likely knife I end up using if I'm in a knife fight. So it doesn't make sense that I train with this knife, because if I'm practicing connecting with, like one of the training forms I taught people to, is to suspend a tennis ball or a water bottle by a string, and you can practice also things that translate to real world fighting ability. Now people that are looking to be delusional, have false insecurity, what you're looking for is to watch a video from a Filipino false hope salesman that will teach you something. You watch a video once, I'm ready for a knife fight now. Watch a video once on how to use a knife and you feel ready now. Whereas people that are real athletes, warriors, are really looking to improve their fighting ability, they're going to be spending hours drilling things that are boring, like things that are not that exciting. They're going to spend hours training accuracy drills. They're going to practice all kinds of stuff. Maybe this is the first person going to get blocked. Yeah, there's a lot of troll coming, trolling, being silly. So if you're looking to really upregulate your fighting ability, it's like an athlete. You have to be like an athlete, where if you're really looking to get seriously more dangerous with a knife, you have to put in serious training. And part of it, also the boring thing that losers don't want to hear, they're not really interested in getting better for real, but like just feel like they are, is if you want to get better at knife fighting, you should be training cardio and stamina and work with your diet, nutrition to have a lean athletic physique and not be soft and out of shape, see. So this type of stuff, if you're really looking to get better at sword fighting, knife fighting, stick fighting, a big part, a chunk of improving your ability is going to be what is your physical fitness level? What's your stamina like? What's your cardio? Are you out of shape? Do you get tired quickly? Do you have bad cardio coupled with a heavy body and you gas out quickly? Where it's like you get tired quickly. So if you're looking to improve your knife fighting ability, you want something as close to really as possible. And it's basically just look at what I do in training is something you can look at, and what I'm training, anything I'm training long-term consistently is something that makes sense. I don't train things that don't make sense. Do nothing which is of no use, like Masashi's book of Fairbanks talks about. I don't train anything that's pointless. I might try some things like experimental, like let's try doing this, but it's like, well, no, that's pointless, and I could give it up quickly. Do you understand? I might try things in training, and like let's try this, and it might happen. I go, well, that's not really that important to do. Focus my powder training minutes on things that matter more. So anything that I'm doing long term in training are things that make sense. Okay. So with this training knife, this is good for training with the actual thing. Whereas if I would use this, it's a different distance. So improve your knife fighting ability. One thing you can do to train is to have a border hanging from the ceiling, and you're practicing your accuracy, hitting it. It goes off, it comes after you practice connecting with it on the rebound, for example. Now, if I'm using this, the range is different. So once again, it doesn't translate to real world fighting ability as much if I have something as if I have something of equal dimensions or a lot closer. Because if I'm practicing, it's like, here's the fighting knife that I have for fighting. And I use this training knife. That's about, it's twice as long at least. Okay. And I'm practicing hitting a bottle, it flies off, and I'm practicing connecting with on the rebound, which is another drill that translates to real world fighting ability. Because you're fighting a human body, but its target on like the neck or the liver, whatever part of the body, and you're practicing being in front of something that's moving active away from you and connecting with it. And it might be moving left, right, up, down, which the bottle does. Where you're actually practicing like a similar guard, hitting it, it flies off, and then connecting with a moving object again. Now notice how with this, it's a different range. So if I'm practicing connecting with the bottle, here, it counts as a hit. But if I'm using this for training, fighting with that, my muscle memory that I'm building is for fighting with this knife. Say. I'm building muscle memory for connecting with this knife, whereas if I have a smaller knife, this would be a miss because the tip ends here. See? Same with hooking stabs and everything else. You're practicing for connecting with a certain object at a certain range. So. So this is type of stuff you can practice too. Closing the distance a little bit back. Once again, if you want to get better, you're dividing your training. Where sometimes I'm practicing the deployment, where I have the weapon, deep covert carry, and I practice getting it out. And then drilling that. Other times, I drill having the weapon deployed and then closing the distance and delivering combinations. I will practice shadow balls. So this is knife fighting impact training. And if the person puts up a block there to block the punch, the stab is getting in there. So you can block punches, but using your arms to catch knife stabs is not gonna be as effective as blocking gloved boxing punches. Practically this distance. See, that's a 1-2. Punch to the jaw followed by a stab to the neck. Now I'm just going to be practicing impact. We can practice impact. And this another one too. Stab and then here. Notice that 1, 2, 3, it's punch, and then it's stab to the neck, which is kind of on, followed by a stab down here. You notice has a different one, where this is from the side, and if the person has a goal, it can block that. Now, after doing around 10 repetitions of this, 1, 2, I surprise switch it to this. 1, and attacking in the middle, which means if the guard is like this, I can use, if I'm in front of me with hands up here, I can attack in the middle, see, quickly. So wherever, if you cover one place, it's always something that's open. You can't cover your whole body, so if you're covering up here, I can still connect with your neck, even if your hands are here. But it's hard, so if you're up here covered, you open here and in the middle. And if your arms are like this, they open to the side for the hooking steps here. So no matter how they're blocking, if they're covered, there's a way that I can connect with your neck. See here, like this. From here, and it can be bang, bang, hook stab, bang, bang, see? Or it can be bang, bang, and I'm attacking here, see? Down the middle. And the same thing works with different targets. So if it's covered up here, I can attack to the liver. If it's covered up here, it has up here. If it's open in the middle, I can attack in the middle or down here. So there's always something that's open. If you open one door, if you close one door, you open another. There I stab through it and create a new punch with the neck with the C-line. So I don't know if I'm hitting enough to even with this blunt cut through it and get in there, or if it's the blade sliding through the vent hole at the bottom, the drainage hole. And then you can attack with combinations. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You can switch the grip to this one. And I'm attacking to the armpit, because if people wear knife-proof vests, an opening is the armpit. Where most body armor, knife-proof vest or bulletproof vest, Kevlar, the armpit is an opening.
So you can slide, even if the arm is like this, you can slide in to the armpit. Even if it's like this, you can get into the armpit. Here. And here's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm using this foot now. Yeah.
I've been carrying a weighted vest on top of several layers of clothing, which means anything I've been doing has been extra laborious. The training, the walking, everything. I believe I'll be more dangerous than the person in the video. Martial artist locked with knife attacker. I believe I'll be more dangerous as a knife attacker than the person I had in the video. There's a YouTube video with Jeff Chan and other martial artists. And I think they have 2 videos at least. Pro martial artist locked with knife attacker. And they have like a UFC octagon. And then they have a pro martial artist. It's like maybe one guy who's a boxer, one who's an MMA guy, one who's maybe best at wrestling. And they have sparring where the guy has a training knife and his job is to attack the pro martial artist. And he's succeeding in getting them cut and stabbed. So once again, attacking delusions is what I'm about. Where there's people that might go, well, it's like I as an average Joe, average athleticism, average stamina, speed, cardio, I don't live like an athlete. I'm soft and out of shape and would gas out quickly, like run away from Mike for 15 seconds, I gas out on myself. They said most people, they have such low cardio that they wouldn't be able to survive a fight that lasts more than 15 seconds, okay? So even if they were able to block attacks for 15 seconds, like somebody standing in front of someone with knife stabs, and they were able to, in fight flight mode, block 15 stabs for 15 seconds, now they're going to have gassed out from that exertion, and they're going to be not unable to fight anymore. They're going to be starting out where the level is going to, the form suffers when you're gassed out, everything. So people that might have got a false sense of security, that's not what I'm about. I'm about reality here. So there's people that might think because they watch a knife fighting how-to delusional bullshit video, there's like, yeah, I'm not worried somebody come at me with a knife wouldn't have a chance to hurt me, which is false sense of security. Now, who are you? Like, if you look at the video, pro martial artists locked with knife attacker, they're pro combat athletes. Everything is tip-top. The training, the techniques, they're more athletic than average person. So if an expert martial artist, pro, can't stop a knife attacker from reaching them and hurting them and connect them with stabs and slashes, what chance do you as an average Joe have after watching like a video on YouTube of how to block a knife attack? Be like, yeah, I could have a guy in the room attack with a knife and I somehow end up winning, when pro martial artists fail to be able to do it. Okay. And I do believe that I'd be more dangerous attacking with a knife than the guy in the video. the guy that they had doing the drill. I'm gonna hang this up here. Now we're gonna go to the laptop where I'm live to Twitch and elsewhere. So I'll put up a disclaimer here. We're going to look at this video. If I want, I can clip this later, upload this new video to my channel. So, attacking delusions. How dangerous it is. Pro martial artist locked with knife attacking. Here, there's 6 martial artists, not the average, out of shape, soft, unathletic person. The average person in America is obese, which is the opposite of athletically built, okay? Now, this is not the average person with average physique. Out of shape is the average physique being out of shape. And the average person, this is not the average person. And the average person doesn't have a lot of martial arts training. And the person is unathletic and obese, fat, soft. No, these are fighters, pro martial artists. And they can't succeed in stopping the guy from hitting them.
After that, I was pretty upset with myself.
So these are pro martial artists. So the average person, so notice how a lot of you don't like that you're being delusional because you're scared. And because you might be scared of somebody pulling a knife on you and coming at you with it. You might have gone to, if you thought about it, go watch some videos and got a false sense of security and you believe in lies. They say, I don't have to worry about a person pulling a weapon on me. A knife, because I watched a video of some how to block a knife attack or something like this one time, and you're soft, out of shape, lazy. Like the average person is soft and out of shape, and apparently it's like the pride. It's like you think that you'd be better than pro martial artists that are athletically built and athletic at the highest level and have a lot of fighting training. So snap back to reality. And I do believe that would be more dangerous to this person as the knife attacker.
Marker representing a knife. They get 2 points.
And here they're counting how many of his attacks have landed, slashes and stabs. Let's go back to the beginning here.
It's gonna suck.
So that's the knife attacker. He's got a knife there. And he got special spawning for this. And he's already connected 2 times. And here's the impact count. So he's being stabbed, stabbed, stabbed. Stab, stab, stab. Looks like he got slashed in the neck. If that was a slash to the neck, he'd be bleeding out within 90 seconds. If you sever the carotid organ. It's one thing. If one of the carotid arteries is severed and you don't put pressure on it, you lose consciousness within 90 seconds, bleeding out like a blood choke. If both of them are cut, it's even faster. But if one of your carotid arteries are slashed on the neck, they're very close to the skin. So rear naked chokes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, how they work is to squeeze both carotid arteries that supply your brain with oxygenated blood And if your brain loses fresh oxygen supply from the bloodstream for 10 seconds, you lose consciousness. So a rear naked choke makes you lose consciousness within 10 seconds. And the same way, if you slash one of those carotid arteries with a knife, that blood is leaving your body at speed, and you get a lot less oxygen to your brain. And within 90 seconds, the person will lose consciousness. So if you would slash the person's neck once, their carotid artery is open now, they're bleeding, unless they put their hand to cover it and limit, like lower the bleeding rate to lose less blood. From just one carotid artery being slashed, they be unconscious within 90 seconds. And the fighting ability is being decreased by the second. Yeah, which is also what I've been doing, is the grip change since this one can help you get better at fighting. If you get better at being able to transfer hands and alternate the grip, that can also help you capture win a knife fight. Where you're good at, you start with this grip, you'll be attacked like this, and you might switch the grip and stab a different way, or switching hands and things like this. So just generally getting better at wielding the knife matters.
Here you do. Oh, the markers on the other side, you change hands.
He's been stabbed or slashed 20 times now. So they have like a counter where they've been watching this here, I guess it's slow motion and editing it, and they're counting the hits. So it's like at this point, the pro martial artist has been stabbed and or slashed. He's been hit with the knife 20 times. Which you also have to bear in mind, like this is like point fighting. It's like if you have two boxers practicing in point fighting, and it's like he touched the guy's chin versus the effect of real. These are just counting the hits. You have to bear in mind that each of these hits would have a dramatic effect on the person. If you get stabbed in the arm once, it's not just like somebody is a judge that's counted the guy was hit once for the scorecard. It's like you cut muscle fibers, tendons, nerves and stuff, and the person might not, like you have to apply this in your thinking to real world. So when the knife person, if he the first time, as close to the distance, connects like to the biceps with a stab, for example, in real life he'd be bleeding now, and maybe the guy couldn't use his hand to wrestle, throw punches anymore. See, if he's been stabbed in the bicep area, it's like, oh, they count that as a hit, but in real life that hit would have done something. He'd be bleeding, have muscle fibers, nerve endings, tendons, cut, and he might not be able to move his hand up here anymore. He might not be able to use it to block or grab. He might not be able to use it to wrestle or throw punches or block or things like this. There might be things here that make this arm is bad now. So you also have to bear in mind what the landed hits would have done. It would induce bleeding, mechanical damage, and a dramatic decrease in fighting ability, combat effectiveness. And he's doing a good job because his attack is in ways that I've been training, and the way that I've been training is intelligent, where it's very hard to defend against a person attacking combinations and varying their angles and the target zones. So if you attack a few times to the neck and then you switch to attacking to the body, it makes it a lot harder, because if you get stabbed up here once and your arms go up, or you have your arms up and you get stabbed in the arm, for example, or if you have your guard up here, somebody attacks you once here, they retract, and then the next stab is to the body. So a lot of times it's like boxing. If you attack to the head, the guard will go up, which opens up the body. So wherever you're covering, if you're covering up here, there's going to be a way to connect somewhere. I'm going to keep this live stream going, so you had to switch to the phone stream where I'm screen sharing and doing commentary.